Oh. Oh, wow. Okay, wait. Hold on. Because I had this scenario in my head, like, statistically unreasonable amount of time, actually. But in every version of where you were standing farther away and I had more time to prepare before you looked at me directly. You still do that. That exact face. Little confused eyebrow thing. Hi. No, that sounded really intense. I know how to say not hi normally. I do it all the time at work, to cashiers, delivery drivers. I am actually very good at functional greeting situations. It's just I wasn't expecting you. Can I sit here or... No, wait, you're nodding? Okay, sorry. Sometimes I ask questions and then keep talking before the answer happens. Wow, you really are you. Sorry, I know this also sounds strange. It's just okay. You know, when you remember someone so vividly for so long that eventually this stops feeling like they're a real person and they start feeling more like a place your brain visits when it's lonely. You did that to me a little. Not in a creepy way. Probably not in a creepy way. Maybe medium creepy. Sorry. You look good. Different, but good. Older, obviously, but not in a bad way. Not that aging is bad. It's just, I mean, you look more settled. Which is funny because in high school you always looked like you were inconvenienced away from walking directly into the ocean. I miss that. No, seriously, I did. I missed you a stupid amount. You know what's embarrassing? I still know your coffee order. No, really. Medium vanilla latte, extra shot, because you always said caffeine wasn't working anymore, which honestly at 17 was probably medically concerning. Oh, you switched to tea? No, absolutely not. See, this is why people shouldn't disappear for 7 years. You come back wrong. There you are. Okay. That sounded dramatic, but you know what I mean. You laughed like the old you just did then. I used to look for you automatically. That took a while to stop. After graduation, I mean. I'd turn corners expecting you to be there, or I'd hear somebody laugh in a bookstore or at the train station, and my brain would go, oh, that's them, before I even looked. But it never was. I almost texted you so many times, like genuinely an insane amount of times. I had drafts. Which sounds unhinged now that I'm saying that out loud. Yeah. But every version sounded wrong, too emotional or too casual, too needy or distant, and then I'd overthink punctuation for 40 minutes and eventually convince myself you probably didn't even remember me that much. That part hurt the most, actually, because you were everything back then. Not in a dramatic teenage way people usually mean. You were just safe. And the only person I didn't have to perform around. Do you know how rare that is? Wow. Okay, sorry. I did not mean to immediately speedrun emotional vulnerability. I had a mental list of topics, actually. Now I literally wrote it down. So, 1. Ask what they've been doing. 2. Do not confess unresolved feelings immediately. 3. Remain eye contact a normal amount. 4. Do not info dump. And I am currently failing at least 3 of those. God, I missed laughing with you. You know, it's weird. I don't think I realized how lonely I got after you left. Because people always say, like, you'll find your people eventually, and I did find good people, I think, but nobody understood my silences the way you did. With you, I would never have to translate myself into something easier for other people. I just wait, and somehow you always knew what I meant anyway. You used to hand me your hoodie when I got overstimulated in crowded places, because you figured out I liked the weight of it before I did. Nobody ever noticed things like that about me before. And I still have it. Wait, okay, that sounds so much worse out loud. I mean, obviously, I watched it multiple times, so I'm not just sitting in my apartment clutching an ancient hoodie like a Victorian widow. Jesus Christ. Okay, maybe once or twice during finals week. I can't believe this is how I'm reuniting with you after 7 years. Oh. But honestly, I think if anybody is going to understand this level of catastrophic oversharing, it was always going to be you. Can I tell you something selfish? When I saw you standing here for like a whole 5 seconds, I forgot everything bad that went on while you were gone. And I was just like, my brain went, oh, there you are. Home exists again. And that scared me a little, because I don't think I ever stopped loving you. And I just got better at being quiet about it. See, okay, this is why I made the list, because I specifically said not to confess unresolved feelings immediately, and then I did exactly that anyway. I always do that with you. You make my brain skip steps. No. Oh, don't apologize. You don't have anything to be sorry for. Neither of us did anything wrong. We were 18. That's basically being emotionally mugged by life on a daily basis. And honestly, if anyone should apologize, it's probably me. I disappeared too, just differently. You know, after you moved away, people kept asking if we were still in touch, and every time I said sort of, because technically for a while, we were. We sent memes and stupid videos, updates about classes and stuff. You sent me that photo of the raccoon that stole someone's sandwich on your campus. I still have that saved. Not because I'm weird about you specifically. I just archive things emotionally. My brain is like a museum curated by an anxious crow. But eventually the gap between messages got longer and longer, and I never knew when enough time had passed to start texting you again. And it became socially incorrect. And you know me, if rules become unclear, I panic. So I kept waiting for the right time, and then suddenly it had been 7 years. And I hated myself for that sometimes. Because you mattered so much to me, and somehow I still let you become someone I missed instead of someone I knew. Huh? You missed me too? Oh, wow, Okay, well, sorry. I rehearsed this conversation a lot, but weirdly none of the versions include you saying that back, which is probably concerning psychologically. I thought maybe you'd forget me eventually. No, seriously. You had this whole life somewhere else, new friends, new city, probably significantly cooler coffee shops. Maybe even a morally superior bookstore. And I stayed here. Same streets, same bus routes, same stupid little diner where you used to steal my fries even though you always said you weren't hungry. You still do that? Oh my god. Okay, that actually makes me emotional. You know what the worst part was? Every good thing made me think of you. Which sounds romantic in theory, but in practice it's incredibly inconvenient. No, I'm serious. I'd read a book, immediately think, oh, they'd love this line, or hear a song in the grocery store, and suddenly I'm 17 again, sitting in your car after school while you drummed your hands against the stupid steering wheel at the red light. And you always drummed in patterns when you were thinking hard. Did you know that? 3 taps with your left hand, 2 with your right. Every time. How do I remember? Because I noticed everything about you. And that's the thing nobody tells you about loving someone. When your brain works like a mine does. People think love is about big gestures, poetry, whatever. But for me, it was memorization. It was learning you so carefully that my body started to recognizing you as familiar before my mind could catch up. I knew the sound of your footsteps in the hallway. I knew which moods made you go quiet and versus which ones that made you talk too much. I knew when your smile was real. I knew when you were hurting, even when nobody else noticed. Sorry, was that too intense? I can't tell sometimes. My internal scale for emotional honesty is apparently broken. But it's true. You were my favorite person long before I understood why. And I think part of me assumed there would always be more time. More conversations, more late night drives, more chances to tell you things properly. Then graduation happened, and suddenly everything became temporary. I remember that last night. You were sitting on the hood of your car, talking about being scared to leave, and I wanted to kiss you so badly. God, okay, saying that out loud sounds illegal somehow. Wait, you knew? You knew? Oh my god, kill me immediately. No. Oh no, hold on. You're telling me I spent months agonizing over whether my feelings are subtle enough? Meanwhile, you apparently knew the entire time? I hate that you could probably hear me blushing. Honestly, that tracks. I was never mysterious around you. You always looked at me like you could read my footnotes in my brain. I missed being understood like that. I missed you looking at me like I wasn't difficult. Most people eventually get tired of how much I am. Too talkative, too emotional, too specific, too overwhelmed, too excited. I learned how to shrink that for other people. What? You liked that about me? No, you absolutely did not enjoy my 20-minute rants about deep sea giantism in 11th grade. You did. You are such a liar. A sweet liar, but still. You know what's unfair? You still make me feel 17. Not in an immature way, just hopeful. And I haven't felt that way in a long time. Oh, you are holding my hand. Okay, wow, sorry, I need a second. You always did this. I mean, when I got overwhelmed, you'll hold my hand exactly like this. Not too tight, just enough pressure so I knew where I was. I think my body remembered it before I let myself. Can I be honest about something else? That question is ridiculous because I apparently have been honest against my own will for the past 30 minutes. If you asked me right now, I'd think I'd still choose you, which probably sounds reckless after 7 years apart. But loving you never really left. It just went dormant, like one of those little flowers that survive impossible conditions waiting for rain again. And then you walked in this cafe, and suddenly everything started growing back.